Hi everyone, I am Manish Pandey. Welcome back to the UiPath Document Understanding series. In the last video, we explored digitization, and in this video, we are going to explore classification in document understanding. And this is very important and core steps of the document understanding framework. Let's see the agenda of this video. We will learn what is classification, what are classifiers in UiPath Document Understanding, what are the available classifiers, when to use classifiers, keyword based classifier will be also doing the practical of this classifier. What is learning file and why that learning file needed? We'll also talk about configure classifier. We'll talk about especially minimum confidence. So let's talk about the classification now. Before talking about the definition of the classification, let's understand this with the simple and real world example. Let's assume someone gives you a bunch of mixed Indian notes like 10 rupees, 20 rupees, 50 rupees, 100 rupees, 500 rupees, etc. all jumbled together. Your task is to separate, classify that and organize them into the different trays according to the notes. Now let's say what you will do first, you look at that note first. First you will pick that, okay, you identify that, you will scan that with your eyes, and then you will read the text from that note. If it has written 10 rupees, 20, 100, so you'll first identify by looking at the keywords, or based on your learning you might have seen these notes, you know previously somewhere. So it has in your mind that okay, this is 200 notes, this is 100 notes, and this is 10 rupees note. So from your past learning, or by looking at the keywords, you can now identify that this is 10 rupees note and this is 100 rupees note. And then you classify these notes, and then you put that separately in the tray based on the labels like 10, 20, 50, 100s, like that. So here, for example, you are scanning that, you are reading that using your eyes, you are um, checking with the that keywords like 10, 20, 100, 50 based on the colors you are looking at that note, and then you classify that. But in document understanding, what board does, it uses digitization, it uses OCR to extract the text first. So first, digitization is very important here in the classification. If you are not doing digitization, not doing OCR, classification will not work here. First, digitization will give you the, it will extract the data, extract the text from that document. For this example, a note, and then you will have a list of words, keywords there. Now, based on your predefined keywords set in the learning file or set in the boot memory, it will identify from the extracted. Okay, so let's say we have to identify invoice document. So in the invoice document, we have written a set of keywords, like you need to find the keyword as a invoice or a quantity or total value, total amount, like that. So it will try to identify from each of the documents. If I identify that in some of the documents, it says that okay, this is invoice, so it is using OCR, and then it's using the classifier to classify the documents as we are doing. If we human, we are using our brain. So let's understand the definition of classifications. What is classification? Classification is the process of identifying the type of documents from a batch of different documents, whether it's an invoice, a purchase order, utility bill, or something else. Now we'll talk about what are classifiers. So as we talk about that, both uses classifiers to classify the documents, to identify the documents. So same here, a classifier is a method in the UiPath document understanding which is used to identify or to determine the type of a document. We have three available classifiers. Based on the package you will install, you will have a different classifier as well. Might be from every package you will have different classifiers, right? So for now, we have listed three classifiers: keyword based classifier, intelligent keyword classifier, machine learning classifier. Let's understand these three classifiers. This keyword based classifiers is a, we can say, a rule based methods that looks for the specific keywords in a document to decide what type of document it is. Like this classifier scans that text, like compare with the keywords that we have defined in the for the document type, and then it works that way. Now we have intelligent keyword classifier. Intelligent keyword classifier is basically a smarter version of that keyword based classifier. So in the keyword, we manually we put that, we give that keyword to identify from the documents. But in the intelligent, it takes a sample of documents and then it gives you, or like it adds those keywords automatically in its learning file, we can say. So it does it intelligently. Now we have ML classifier, that is machine learning classifier. This is, we can say, imagine we have there is a trained human who has the thousands of documents, and even if the content or format is slightly different, they can still organize and classify whether the document is invoice or receipts, thanks to the experience. Because ML machine learning classifier also, it works based on the past experience, based on the training. Now you can see here that there are two columns apart from the classifier. We have a split document and retrainable. So keyword based classifier, if you use that, so you will not able to split the documents. Only key intelligent keyword classifier has the capability to split the documents. So if you have uh, combined documents, so in enterprises, in the companies, you will have seen that, they scan the documents and then put in the one file itself in the combined, and they call it as a combined PDF, combined document, or like they say a complete set of document for financial documents, or the complete document of the, they can say, a policy documents, right? But now, at the time of splitting those, at the time of classifying those, you need to split that. And then you need to identify, okay, this first page to 10 page is this document. After that, 11 page to 12 page, this document, right? So here, intelligent keyword classifier is capable of splitting the documents and classify that. So keyword and machine learning classifier has no capability of splitting, but only intelligent keyword classifier can do it. Now, retrainable. So these three classifiers are retrainable. So let's talk about the split. So let's say you have 100 of pages of documents, and this document understanding means intelligent keyword classifier can split the document, and it can say, okay, these 2 pages of documents invoices, these are purchase order, and these are receipts. Now, when to use classifiers? How can you decide that when should I use keyword based? When should I use intelligent keyword classifier? When should I use machine learning? So based on the some scenario, based on the examples, you can think about that. You can identify that. Okay, first, if you have a combined documents where you need to split that, okay, so that time you can use this intelligent keyword classifiers. Now, if you have documents that can be easily classified using the specific keywords only, like purchase order, invoices, receipts, like that, so you can say, okay, I can use keyword based classifier and it can easily work there. So that type of scenario you can use keyword based classifiers. But when simple keyword based classifier insufficient and a more intelligent approach is needed to handle more complex documents, and you have multiple types of documents that merge into one, and you need to split those, then in that case you can use intelligent keyword classifier. And for machine learning classifier, so when you are dealing with the large variety of document types and structures that require a more sophisticated approach, for example, classifying a diverse set of financial documents such as tax form, financial statements, invoices. So in that case, you can use machine learning classifier where you can train that machine learning classifier, that model, and it can learn from the previous uh, learning, previous training. So based on the training, it can do that. So if you need that type of thing, that you can use machine learning classifiers. Now you know all these things. Now in this video, we'll start with the keyword based classifier. I will show you the practical example of keyword based classifier. Let me open this in the UiPath Studio. Now let's take this log messages, and we'll say it as a classification started or classification completed. We'll say here classification started, and in this one we'll say classification completed. Okay, now we'll go to this activities, and to classify the documents we need to use classify document scope. Why we are using scope here? Because here it gives us option to use multiple classifiers. That's why without a scope, without one containers, we cannot do that. So that's why we are using classified document scope. Now in this one, we need to pass all these details that we have already used, or like we have stores here somewhere. So first, document path means which document you are going to use. So let's say I'm going to use invoice 1. So I will copy this path and I will paste here. So let's put here str document path. Second, we need taxonomy. So we already have this taxonomy that is coming from the load taxonomy. Okay, we have document text. So this we are going to get from digitized documents. You can see document text and document object model. So you can pass these things, document text and document object model. This is very simple, right? Now here it it is giving us the classification results. So let's add this in a variable. So classification. So this is going to a results, not result. Classification results, a collection we can say. So it stores in a array we can say. You can see here the type of this classification results variable is UiPath dot document processing dot context dot results dot classification result, because we can have a multiple pages. Now after that we need to drop classifier here, search for classifiers. So you can see from this UiPath intelligent OCR activity we have intelligent keyword classifier, we have keyword based classifier, and then one we have machine learning classifier that is coming from the document understanding .ml activity. Okay, and you can also see generative classifier that, but that's different. We can also talk about this later. We'll go with the three only first. So for this video we'll be using keyword based classifier. So let's drag and drop. Now you can see here we have option learning file path. Now what is this file path? From where we'll be getting this learning file path? Do you know? Okay, so let's talk about that. So what is this? It is a JSON file that contains the mappings of the document types or associated keywords or phrases for the classification, which helps this classifier to classify the documents based on the keywords. Means you need to provide the document type and associated keywords. Like you need to look for the invoice, look for the total payment, look for the quantity, like this. So and without this learning file, this classifier has no information on what keywords to use, and the classification will also not work. As we relate to our real world, so we can say as we learn, right, we will learn something and we store in our mind. We also store that in a notebook. So whenever we need to find something, we go and open that specific page. We can uh, again learn from that notebook. If we have stored in our mind, so we can recall it from that brain, from mind, and we can say, oh, this one, right, I need to identify this. So based on our that file, that learning file, we can use that and we can work further. Same way this learning file is like that way. So learning file is useful for the boot, so it can store whenever it's going to learn something using the trend activity, like trend classifier. So it can also store those learnings. It can store that notes basically in that file, and it can read always. So that is a learning file path. What you can do, from where we'll get you learn each and everything. So let's do one thing. Let's find a location first. So I have clicked on that, and this is the project folder. Now I want to store that learning file here inside the document processing. Okay, so I will go here, and let's say I will take this. So it requires a JSON file, this one. So what I can do, I can just remove this because currently first time it requires a blank empty JSON file. So what I can do, I can just pass that path, and here I can say, okay, this learning file is for classifier, keyword based classifier. So I can say keyword based classifier. Got it? I will pass that path and I will save it. Currently, if you see, that file is not there, file is not available. So once I will run that, the file will be created, and then whatever learning that we are going to provide here will manage the learning here, and then that notes, that learning notes will be stored in that file. So you just need to pass that path. So I have given this name. You can put it in anything. You can say classifier or keyword, anything. After that, the next step is to manage the learning. So click on the manage learning. Now you can see configure and manage the keywords or set of keywords used by the keyword based classifier when identifying the specific documents types. So while identifying that, it requires that keywords. So what we can do, first, let me open that document. Okay, so let's say we have this document, this invoice. Now, as we know that in our company, we have two or three formats of invoices. We are processing that. So we can have a list of keywords added to that keyword based classifier. Now, what we can do, we'll take a keyword so that like we can identify, okay, so what we do when we look at this document, we see, okay, this is invoice. So we can say, correct, this is invoice. So same way, we have to give that keywords to that classifier so that board can understand, okay, this is this document. So same way, we'll, based on our findings, we need to provide that. So we'll say this one. So we'll go to that classifier, and here we'll click on that and we'll enter that. Okay. Once you enter, you will click somewhere else, automatically put that into the double quotes. So you can also do it like this way, a single keywords, single entry, or the combination of like this simple word sequence like that. You can do it this way also. So you have to find it from here. Now you can say invoice number, date, terms like that. Invoice number this way. Let's say this, then date, then customer ID. So I can do it this way. Invoice number, I can do this way, double quotes. You can say date, customer ID like this. Now terms, then unit price, quantity, amount, total like that. You can also put it like this way about this invoice. You can also add these complete sentence. So let's say now terms, then I can say quantity, then total, or it can also have a total amount. So put that in the double quotes, total amount. Then I can say unit price. So basically, it can help both to identify the documents based on the keywords. So in the keyword based classifier, you saw that we need to enter these keywords. Save that. Now after that, what happens here? Once we save that, let's go to the project folder, refresh this, open this folder, go to this folder, and you see once we go to manage learning, enter all the keywords, it stores that keyword in the its learning file. See, it says that we have one document type, that is invoice. So this is the group, category, and invoice documents. Now it has these keywords like values as a invoice, and then values here as a invoice, date, customer ID, then again terms, quantity, total amount, unit price, right? This way. It is also stored when have you last updated. So last updated time also date and time is there, right? So it has stored that document and the keywords along with that. Now after that, see there is one more warning here because we need to configure the classifier, this classify document scope. Click on configure. Now why this configuration required? Because we have to tell that. So let's say we have multiple document types, we have multiple classifiers, so we have to tell which document types you want to for which document type you want to use keyword, for which document type you want to use intelligent, for which document type you want to use machine learning, right? So in one classifier, this classified document scope, you can define configure multiple. So I want to say, okay, for invoice, I want to use this. Let's say I have a purchase order where I know that we have a multiple pages of documents. So I can say, let's use intelligent keywords. So we have a checkbox. So you have to configure that by checking that checkbox. So it says that, okay, this is keyword based classifiers. So currently we know that this is only invoice. So only one option, but you'll also learn here that how to work with the multiple classifiers. So invoice, check that check that. Now it shows that minimum confidence. So first time I will say put it 0 itself. If you have multiple classifiers, then only I can suggest you to go with the entering some value, like it should be 50% or it should be 60%. Otherwise try with the other keyword, other classifier. So this is basically minimum confidence is, we can say, whenever the classifier runs, it assigns a confidence score. Like let's say it assigns 70%, 63%, 80%, like that. So for each classification attempts, and the number reflects how sure the classification classifier is that the document is of the specific type. So this is the confidence of that classifier. So it ensures that, okay, it says that no, I am 60% confidence that this the document that I have identified is of invoice type, of this document type. Correct? Now example, if you are setting here 90%, and now you are running that automation, and your both the classifier has given 70%, then what will happen? You will not get any result. It will be 0. So that will not work. It will be failed while extracting the text from the document. So that's why first time set it as 0. If you have multiple, then you can divide like that way. So minimum it should be 60, otherwise go to other classifier, like that. Or you can take it like let's say it should be 50% and save it. Now once we'll configure the classifier, error is gone. Now let's do one thing. Okay, let me take that here after this, because this log message for classifier classification completed. Let's click on the breakpoint and debug this. I will try to clear all your concerns or all your questions that you currently have. So the first digitization started. You can see now it's going to complete, and after that this classification will start. Okay, it reached to the last step. Now you can see here in the classification results, we have some value. Let me open that here. You can see here document type ID. So it has classified this document as an invoice. Now you will be thinking that I have only one documents here in the configure classifier as an invoice only. So how it can like give me some other documents, right? So I will give you, I will explain that also, and I will also show you practically. So let me open that again. So how it gives you the records, the data. So it says that okay, this is invoice. The document type ID is invoice. This is identified classified document. This is the document ID, means the name of that file, and the confidence is 0.55, means this is only this classifier is only 55% confidence that okay, this is invoice by based on the keyword added in that learnings. This is basically OCR confidence, like based on the digitizations, it has extracted that text, and it has the page count, like how many pages it has, the document has. So it has only one page. The text length 574, and which classifier is used. So it has used keyword classifier, and the keyword classifier has identified and classified this document as an invoice, and that confidence is only 55. So you saw here we have given 50 only. If you will give here 60, then you will not get any results. So let's try that also. So that's why I always say do not put maximum confidence here, otherwise you will get zero records. So let's debug that. Okay, now you can see in the classification, we don't have any data, right? There is no data because it has not classified. Why? Because the classification, the confidence we have set it 60, but this classifier is only able to give us 53, right? Something like that. What was the confidence previously? So that was that. But it is less than 60. That's why. So always, if you have only one classifier used in this for one document, put it zero itself, or like 20, 10%, 20%, because you are not sure. Like uh, based on your keywords that you will enter in this managed learning, it will give you the score, and based on the document. Okay, let me set it 50% only, or you can set it 0%. Save. Okay, so you did that. Now you are thinking that okay, I have only one document. Now how can I say that okay, this classification is really working? So what we can do, I'll go to the design tab, I'll click on taxonomy manager, I will open that taxonomy manager here, this wizard, and go to this finance category inside this taxonomy, finance group, and then invoice processing category. I will add one more document type as a receipts. Got it? Save it. For the time being, I will just take a few field like store name. Name is text. Store address. Okay. And now close that. So we have two document types. Now you will understand here how the classification is working, and is really the classifier is working or not. So what you can do, you can click on the configure, and now you can see we have two document types, invoices and the receipts. So for the both, I am going to use keyword based classifiers. So I have selected for those. Save this. Go to manage learning, and now I have to also provide the keywords. So let's open receipts here. Okay, so you can see here, we can say cash receipts, cash or receipt, address or telephone, or quantity item like this way, or thank you, total cash change like that. So I will say uh, cash receipt, then I will say separately cash receipt, okay, as a one word. Now after that I can say quantity, then change like that. Okay, so these are the keywords we have given to the receipts. So there are two document types and they are separate associated keywords. Now we will give other inputs. So we have two, but let's say first time we are going to check with the invoices. And now after that I will show you receipts. And let's see it's going to give us the correct name or not, correct document type or not. One more confusion might be you'll have. Okay, my invoice name somewhere has invoice written in the document file name. Might be it's able to get it from that file name itself. Okay, so what we can do here, I can say ticket number one. Got it? And for the receipts, I can say ticket number two. Now both then know what is the file name. So it can just understand, okay, this is one file name, right? So by looking at the file name, it will not able to identify that. So let's copy that file path. So this is invoice that we know, right? Because by looking at that document, we know that this is invoice, but both doesn't know. Now let's see that it is able to identify that document or not. Meanwhile, I can go to the folder and I can show you that classifier that we have now two document types and two different keywords. So here this is invoice, it reads to this. Okay, so this one for the invoice. Second, you can see for receipts we have classified keywords like this, correct? Okay, now you can see we have some results in the classification because we have 55 OCR, this confidence, classification confidence. And you can see it has identified the document as a invoice, correct? And the classifier name is this, correct? And you can also see the document text from here. Sorry, this is the document object model. This is the document text. Sorry, this is the document text. So it extracts these details and then try to compare that keywords here. Try to find that keywords here. So the first keyword that we have given as a invoice, so you try to search here. So it identify, okay, this is invoice. So first, right? Now it has taken customer ID, date, terms, description, quantity, unit price, like that. So by looking at the keywords, it reached to the point in where it says that this is boat is 55% confidence that it is invoice. Okay, now let's stop that. And now what I can do now, I'm going to put it number two, and number two basically a receipts. Now let's see the classification output. Okay, now you can see we have the classification results, and this is now receipts, correct? So it has identified, and then confidence is like only 49%, very less, right? But by looking at the keywords, it can identify the receipts actually. And OCR confidence is also very low. It's 98% only, not 100%. But this can be fixed once we'll train that and we validate that. So you see, it's able to identify that. What we can do instead of we can add one log message here. Let's take a log message here. This log message we are taking is to show the classifier name which has identified classified the document. Other or here itself. And now I'll say classifier name space, and then here I can say classification results. I'll say of 0. So this is array, we can say a collection. So we need to take it first, means first page 0 dot, and I can say classifier name. Now after that I want to say this classifier name, this one, giving us the results OCR, the confidence. So we'll take it plus, and then we can say uh, confidence. I will say plus, and again this time I will say again classification results of 0 dot, we have a confidence dot to string, because this will be a number, so we'll have to convert to the string. Save it, take it info, remove the breakpoints and run this. Okay, so it now worked here successfully. There is no error. So let's go to the output, and you can see here classifier name as a keyword based classifier, confidence is 0.49. Okay, sorry, I basically had to use different thing, not as a classifier name, but I need to take it as a classifier name document type ID. So what is the document type? We need to give that. Save it. So this way you can do it. Like, let's run that quickly. Okay, let's see the output, and you can see here it says that classifier name is receipts, correct, and the confidence is 0.49, means this is 49%, correct. So we are done with the classification, and you learned the classifier as a keyword based classifier in this video.